Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today with us, a good friend of ours, a colleague, Milan Bauk. It is a pleasure to have you back, my friend.
Happy to be back.
Thank you so much. I spoke with Milan recently over a coffee and we came up with an interesting topic. And we were talking about mentorship and coaching. So can you elaborate more regarding this topic, please?
I think personally, if I can share some of my experience.
Absolutely, man.
I started in real estate in 1996, and at that time, the general consensus was branding is everything. So you did branding, and that's how you found success.
Right.
And then after about 17 years of doing that, I made a switch to a different company. And in that different company is where my real estate career actually started. So you could imagine that for 17 years, I was taught one thing, but I didn't have a career. It was all about branding and putting my image out there and putting my name out there. And that's pretty much what everybody else did.
So we're talking 90s at this point, right?
Well, I started in 96, and it wasn't until...
So 90s, early 2000s, you would say like they were pushing more the brand aspect.
Yeah, it was all branding, right? So
understand, yeah.
There wasn't a lot of people that actually did any types of coaching.
Right.
And most agents, I'd probably say 99% of them, 98% of them, only did branding. The smart ones were doing coaching, but none of us knew about it, and we didn't know how to be able to get it. So when I made a switch to a different company where their focus was all about education,
right,
and that's what coaching is, it's education, that's when my real estate career actually started. And that's when I started to see the value of being open to receiving information, right, as well as giving information, helping others.
Right.
Right, which is directly related to coaching, and that's what coaching is.
Yeah. So like, have you ever done any seminars, any courses for other agents? Excuse me. I know you have, but how did that feel? I mean, like, what happens when you're in front of a class or when you're coaching yourself first, and then we're gonna get the other.
Well, the first thing is that I think it's human nature that we want to teach. We also want to learn. And if you're a parent or if you have little kids, you'll notice that your kids are always like, oh, my dad's going to teach me something.
Yes.
You know, mommy's going to teach me something. And their excitement. I think it's unique to humans, as well as the joy that we have from teaching others.
Yes.
It's a natural state to be in. So when I switched to the other company, I was put into that position where people really enjoyed providing me with things of value to improve my life and my business.
Right.
I was open to receiving it. I was excited about making that change. I implemented it. I benefited from it. And then to reach the next level, I started giving back to other people by coaching them.
It's funny, you said you said a couple of things in one sentence. You said you were ready to receive, and you were ready to implement, right? Because a lot of let us call it agents, students, people in the industry, any industry, I guess, are not ready to receive it. No matter what you tell them, you know, like they don't think it works necessarily, or they cannot figure it out or decipher that information you're trying to share with them.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time thinking about that because I find that, you know, the life lessons that you learn are interchangeable with other things in your life, in different topics, in different things. And I'll give you a great example, and this is a really easy one that I use all the time. Most people, right, if you ask them, you know, do you want to lose weight? Yes. Do you want to get stronger? Yes. Do you want bigger muscles, a trimmer waist? Yes, yes, yes. And then you say, have you ever had these goals? Yeah, you know, I set these goals all the time, to lose weight and to get stronger. I say, okay, well, has it worked? No, it hasn't.
Interesting.
Now, in my personal experience, what I found was when I decided to go and do something for health reasons, I'm getting older. My kids are small. I want to be able to play with them and move around and be somewhat healthy. I decided to join a gym, which was a group environment, and we had a coach, and I started working out. It wasn't to lose weight. It wasn't to get stronger. That was a byproduct. So when people look at coaching and they have a topic that they want to solve, a thing that they want to solve, they're always thinking about the end product as being, I want to make more money, I want to do more deals, I want to get more leads, I want to do this, this, and this. Well, that's a byproduct. That's not your goal. Your goal is something else. The thing that creates a byproduct. So for example, if I told you all you have to do is pick up the phone and call these phone numbers and say these 5 simple sentences. That's all you have to do.
Right.
What will be the result?
Well, listen, look, in my experience, I know I would gain something out of that. Like I would get more business. It's a given.
Okay. That's the end result, the unexpected result of setting the simple goal of picking up the phone and making the phone call and doing 100 a day. That's all you have to do.
But this is what I also find. I know you have a lot of experience and stuff like that. But I also find like that consistency is another problem once you're out there loose on your own, right?
Yeah. Well,
like when you're on your own, it's like you have to kind of like try to force yourself to do something that's most of the time painful, and nobody wants pain. But wherever it's pain, there's usually gain. Would you agree?
Well, actually, I'd like to rephrase that. What you
Please,
just said in a different way. Can pain be enjoyable?
Interesting. Can pain be enjoyable? I think it can if you see results.
Okay.
If you see the path like you're on, and then there's pain, and I think yes.
So all the things that you have achieved in your life, all the things that really mean something to you, did you have to struggle and go through pain to get that positive result?
Yeah.
How much does that positive result mean to you now?
Well,
because of what you had to go through?
A lot.
Okay. When you were doing it, when you were struggling and you were going through the pain, were you saying, oh, I just want to quit, I hate doing this? Did it ever cross through your mind?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, many times.
You had a larger reason why you were doing it.
Good, valid point. Larger reason, yes.
Yeah, and now what you've attained, will you lose it easily?
No. And even if I do, I know how to build it up again.
Yeah, and on the flip side, if you go to the casino and you win $10,000 of putting one chip into the coin machine, right? It came really easy. Does it make you happy? Well, do you get joy from hearing the ding, ding, ding?
Yeah.
Okay, well, how long does that last for? How long does the money last for?
Very quickly.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Because it didn't require anything.
There was no involvement of deeper meaning to it. It just came in, came out.
Yeah, so how I approach struggle and work and all these things, I break it up into little pieces. And I make it fun. So for example, I wanted to learn scripts. I wanted to learn what to say, how to say it, when to say it, and why I'm saying it.
Okay.
I wanted to learn that. Just like if you were to learn how to swim. Just like if you were to learn how to play baseball, swing a bat, right? You have to go to the experts that have figured it out and learn how to do it and practice, practice, practice. As long as you're practicing, you'll get better and better. So for scripting, what did I do? Well, most people say, find a script partner. Well, okay. Trying to get somebody to be as committed to something as much as you.
It could be difficult. It's not impossible, but difficult, yeah.
Very difficult, and it's not necessarily reliable.
Yeah.
So I knew that these were the typical drop-off points where people stop practicing scripting. And having to wait for somebody else wasn't an option for me. So what I did was I made a game. I made a little sheet and I put down my 5 sentences, 6 sentences on it.
So now you're giving your secrets away, but that's okay if you want to.
I don't mind. Yeah, the more people that do this, the better, right? Sure. And then I would go to the receptionist and say, hey, where do you live? Great, when are you planning on moving? Fantastic. How long have you lived in your house? That's awesome.
Right.
If you were to move, where would you move to next? Great, and when would you like that to happen? It was a game.
So you're building, well, it's funny. It's funny. The first thing you said was scripting, right? Like, and yeah. It brings me back to the times like why scripting? Why? And to me, the common answer to that is like, well, finding the right path for that particular client. Because if I'm asking the right questions, I most likely will get the right answers that I'm looking for and find the right fit to move to the next stage.
Well, if you were to ask a real estate agent who's fantastic at talking about real estate, and you ask them to talk about, the construction of a car engine, it's all foreign to him. It's a foreign language.
Yes.
He could learn it, but he would have to learn the language. Computers, you have to learn the language. In everything that you do, you have to learn the language. Yes. In real estate or in sales in general, you have to learn the language to understand what somebody is saying to you.
Yes.
And how to communicate to them in a clear and a concise way, in a simple way that they understand you as well.
And we're going against everybody because us as I'm finding us as realtors that are full-time committed in this industry are, I'm not necessarily going to say having a hard time, but we're like going against everyone. You're a mechanic, sure. You're a convenience guy, you're bus driver. Everybody seems to know more information than the next guy. Not necessarily the right information, but you know what I mean? So what I always like to do is ask my clients where you get that from. Like when they start talking to me about stuff and some of it is valid or what at least I think it's right, but some of it is just nonsense. And I ask them, where did you get that from? Oh, from a post or from my neighbor, or where did he get that from? So when I get to the bottom of it, it's like it doesn't really hold any water, right? Like it's nonsense, right?
Yeah, I think your job as a salesperson isn't necessarily to debunk somebody or to say somebody is wrong. I think it has more to do with helping them organize their confused thoughts in a way that makes sense to them.
Yes, 100%.
I truly believe that everybody has the answers from within. It's just not organized in the proper way. Our job is to be able to organize it, help them organize it so it makes sense to them, so they're comfortable and confident about 100%. Taking the next step forward.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, well said, well said. So when does a coach or a mentor benefit in any way aside the fact that they're doing it for?
Yeah, I like how you said that. Let's say before I started my real estate career, switching to the new company,
sure.
I was surrounded by people that were making $3, $4, $5, $10 million a year with massive teams. Some of them were only a couple of people, and they did phenomenally well. And I would think to myself, wow, if only I could get them to mentor me. But what do I have to offer? And training people, what I found was the common reaction was, oh my God, I have nothing to offer, and this man is giving me such valuable information and is actually interested in my success. How lucky am I? Well, the secret was, I was lucky to have them.
Yes.
I was lucky enough to be able to have people that I could share my experiences with, my path to success, because it actually made me better.
Okay.
I could see in them the parts that I still needed to work on to make myself more successful and better.
But it's funny because like successful people don't mind sharing.
Oh, they love to.
Exactly.
Oh, they love to share.
Like it's weird, right? Like and we have startup agents and we have like colleagues and friends, and they're like, oh, like I'm not even going to ask. Why not? You know, why not? What do you got to lose? Because exactly what you said, in their head, they're thinking, what do I have to offer?
Yeah.
I think that's the catch.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to offer one? And then I think I would love to add something else to that. Like, I would like to add, like, what do I have to offer? And then plus, I'm not valuable or I'm not at that level. I just started, I did 2 leases, and now, like, I'm asking the guy that does $10 million, right?
Well, here's the secret that I told my son. He's a competitive swimmer. He's doing really well. Yeah. And I was talking to him about the coaches, and I asked, do you ask the coaches for information, for help? And he says, well, no, they'll help me when they think it's right. I said, no. I said, you go and you ask them. But I have so much to work on. I want to get better before I ask. I said, no. You go and ask them for the information.
Sure.
The trick is that when they provide you with advice, implement it. And they will see you implementing it. As they're giving advice to everybody else there, they think to themselves, I'm giving value and nobody is valuing the information I'm providing. But here's this one kid, keeps bugging me, keeps pestering me for more info, and keeps implementing it. The coach is excited for the kid's success and wants to give them more information, more attention.
Successful people want to see growth.
Yes.
With others, within, everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like this is how entrepreneurs, CEOs, that's how we're programmed. Like we want to see growth. Absolutely. We don't mind, especially if somebody was bugging you, like for growth. If somebody was bugging you for like, you would love it. Like you would be like, no problem. I'll tell you everything that I know, and I hope you make it. Sky's the limit, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So I think this is where to answer that question, does coach benefit by only coaching?
By only coaching?
Yeah, but by coaching or by communicating with others, by answering questions, by giving value for free, or by whatever the case is, right? Mm-hmm. I think there's definitely a mental growth to mentors and coaches being in that particular position.
Well, yeah. Well, you're creating your own, in a sense. You're creating your own top 5 of people that are invested and care about your success. They want to see you progress. They don't get any financial benefit from it.
Yeah.
But what they do get from it is somebody that is just like them. They've brought somebody into their tribe of how they do things and their pattern of success and the language that they speak and how they speak and how they do things. We all want to work within a team, within a community.
Sure.
And the top performers are no exception to that. I haven't seen a single one that has had any type of longevity by only thinking of themselves. All the top performers, Cohen in The Bridal Path, he's part of a mastermind group with agents that aren't making as much money as he is.
Actually, just rubbing on that energy.
Yeah, and they're more than welcome to bring in a newcomer.
Yeah.
If they speak the same language, if they're willing to learn, if they're open to the possibility that they may have been wrong about things. And that's a key part of top performers.
Yeah.
You want a mentor? Do the simple things. Simple thing, scripting. Okay, great. Write on a piece of paper the 5 lines in the script. They're easy to find. And make a game out of it. Because that's what the top performers do. John Ferber, shout out John Ferber. He's been a massive influence on me. He used to pay somebody after school to tap him on the shoulder to tell him, pick up the phone and make your next phone call.
Yeah, I know.
John's goal was to pick up the phone and call the next person. That was his only goal. That was the only thing that he needed to do, and he had to pay somebody, paid a kid to tap him on the shoulder every time he put the phone down to
Isn't
make
that
the
amazing?
next phone call.
I remember, yeah. That's crazy.
And John's had a phenomenal career. They used to call him the king of the beaches. Top trainer and coach with Mike Ferry, over 60,000 coaching calls. I love the guy for what he's done and what he's
100%,
achieved.
100%.
And it was from him that I
learned. A lot
learned.
of respect for John.
And it's from him that I learned that don't think about how many transactions. Don't think about how many listings, how many deals, how many of any of these things. The only thing you need to think about is picking up the phone and making the next call, the next door that you knock on. That's all you have to think about. Every time somebody says, you know, I'm not planning on moving in a pine box or any sort of thing, you say, okay, it's a game, so you don't take it personally. It's fun. You just go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. I guarantee if you knock on 100 doors a day,
yeah, you'll get something for sure.
Well,
you'll get something, especially if you're ready. Like if you have been mentored, if you have a scripted, if you're within the energy, there's no way of failure. I mean, like, no. or the chances are very slim. So before we wrap this up, Milan,
sure.
If you could, probably a hard question, but if you could take only one singular thing that changed your way or your pattern of thinking, or that made it, that they made it for you. Well, like, can you pick one thing that did that?
Yeah,
one nugget. Yeah, how they call it.
Yeah, I had to. Well, first of all, I had to admit my weaknesses, embrace it, what I was lacking, and the second thing was I had to change my environment. I needed to be in an environment where people were open to doing things differently and improving to get better.
So was there in that process, was there a day or a time or a sentence or a word that changed, like that made that pivot, like that made that, you know, like, or just the environment just in general helped?
Well, I knew that the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result.
Yeah.
And, you know, branding is about ego, and, you know, 17 years of focusing on just ego to be successful wasn't working. And that's why I say my real estate career changed when I changed companies with a different approach. And I was surrounded by people that their business had nothing to do with ego. Sure. It had everything to do with doing the simple things and just doing the work. I changed my environment. We have a saying, translated, it's, you know, show me your 5 friends and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And
well said, yeah.
That's what I needed to do, and I had thought it was going to be difficult. I had thought it was, you know, the chances of success would be low of changing that environment, of finding the right group of people. But then after doing it, I realized that, you know, the water's not as cold as you think it is before you jump in.
or you get used to it after a while, right?
It's not as difficult. It's standing right in front of you. There are people right in front of you that think like you and are doing the right things. And every single one of them, every single one, in some way works as a coach and is being coached at the same time.
Yes.
So what else are you going to do? Do what they do.
Exactly. Yeah. Milan, thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure. I know you set aside a little bit of time, and I know your busy schedule and all of that stuff, but there you go, Milan Bauk for all of you, and see you next time.